Hi, I'm Tom.
I'm Matty.
And I'm Lewis.
This is the Wigan Way, Wigan's favourite rugby league podcast.
He'll put you in his trap 'cause he's a union man. He's got it all figured out. He won't care what you think 'cause he's a northern man. He's allowed to speak his mind. His
The Wigan Way podcast is brought to you by Cherry and White Pins, a local Wigan Warriors themed pin badge company with a variety of Wigan ranges. You can get free shipping on all orders when you use the code The Wigan Way, that's The Wigan Way, all in capitals, at checkout. Thanks to them for supporting the show.
Thank you for joining us this week on the Wigan Way. Matty, just me and you this week. Lewis is away on holiday again.
Again?
Yeah.
Sounded like a pointed remark.
No, he just loves a holiday, doesn't he? So, just me and you. Good game to review though. Big win. Always makes the week a little bit easier, a little bit better. 48 points to nil over Catalans. How are you feeling after that?
Yeah, well, whenever you get a chance to win against Catalans away, then you take it. I know they've not been amazing this year, just got rid of their coach, which was in between us recording and releasing the episode last week, so we were a bit outdated already by that, but I think if you get a chance to win away in the south of France, you take it.
Yeah.
It's always been historically a tough place to go and win, and
we've got not a great record.
No,
recently we've had an okay-ish record, but
I don't think anyone has a brilliant record there.
no.
Tough place to go.
Funny one. It's probably worth starting the episode with this. Saints went there Saints had Catalans last week. Was it 42?
I think it was 40 points to nil.
40 points to nil. I can't remember whether it was 40, 42, whatever it was. And I got an awful lot of praise for beating a Catalan side. McNamara gets sacked. We all know the new coach effect can bring different things. Sometimes an interim, you perform a little bit better. Sometimes the problem's a little bit deeper than that. But there didn't seem to be a real change from Catalan. No different to how they played against Saints. I don't think there was anything there. There was a little bit of experimentation with who played fullback. I know Cesar Rouge went there for a spell, and I'm going to try and say his name because I can't remember it off the top of my head.
Yeah, you do.
I actually don't.
Guillermo Aspirobichet.
Yeah, he started there, but then there was the
That
change.
was for you, Rod Stud. You love saying that name.
Yeah. So a little bit of experimentation. Nothing really stood out or really worked. Where do you think it's to go for Catalan? What do you think they do from here?
I've no idea. I've absolutely no idea. It's just a complete mess. The squad is an ageing squad. It's not a brilliant pack anymore. They had that sort of, when they had Pangai Jr. flying forward and White and they were throwing offloads about, they had that sort of distinctive style of play which they've gone away from now. Obviously he's not playing, TPJ not playing, Tonkin not playing. So I don't know what to do from here.
I know we mentioned it the other week, but probably again worth mentioning. They've gone away from what had started to work for them. I always remember them being a side where people went to and got a payday and whatever, and ex-Aussies who were past the best.
Greg Bird.
But they could beat a team on the day because they had the pros and whatever. But they've gone a little bit younger, gone a little bit more French, a few more young French talented players.
A lot of French players in this game.
They've got some overseas who are here to carry on playing. They've got a couple of key positions. So they had Maloney, then Mitch Pearce, who were halfbacks that had known the game, but actually they had some young, exciting talent. And then it seems over the last 18 months or so, they've gone back down the old route of names.
Yeah, that's the sort of conversation we had last week about what are the motivations for somebody like TPJ or somebody like Luke Keary to sign for them.
Yeah.
Your motivation there can only be money.
Yeah.
But from a Wigan point of view, we just have to beat them.
Yeah.
You have to be good enough to beat them, and you have to probably take advantage of that fact that they're not in a good place right now, and boost your for and against, your points difference, and we certainly did that with some excellent eye-catching tries.
Yeah, some very, very good rugby. Not our brilliant best, though. I wouldn't say. Quite a lot of errors.
Well, the truth probably lies. We weren't at our free-flowing best that 48-0 might suggest, but we also weren't just utterly dreadful like the commentators seem to think we were.
No.
And the truth probably lies somewhere in between.
Definitely. So I just looked and we made 12 mistakes, according to Super League, which is high. It's a lot of mistakes. And it's not like Wigan. But we were seen to be a little bit criticised more than anything by Sky.
We were criticised. Yeah, they were very critical of Wigan in a 48-0 victory.
Yeah, and
the way they spoke about the two teams, you would think Catalan had won a low scoring game.
Yeah, a low quality, low scoring game. I think it's summarised in the comments around Bevan French. The comment that he'd been quiet, not really had a good game. And he walked away with a 40-20, a try assist. Maybe by his own standards, he wasn't his brilliant best. But come on, we were 20-0 up at half time and win the game 48-0. It was like, it did feel a little bit that there was a want to criticise us.
Yeah, I mean, I can kind of see, but obviously Pete's been a bit standoffish in his interviews and a bit frosty, let's say. And maybe I can see why, because whether he wants to or not, Wigan, deserve to get quite a lot of credit for what they're doing. 7 wins in a row, including Good Friday, including Warrington at Magic, including going away to Hull KR, who everyone's given the Super League trophy to already.
Yes.
They've already won it because of how unbeatable they are. We just went to their place and beat them quite handily. And there's absolutely nothing being said at all about it. That's just what they should do.
Exactly. It's still very early in this season. It's 12-0 and...
You think we're just a victim of our own success? Like, you're going for the third time in a row because...
You've won 7 trophies in a row. 6 trophies in a row, sorry.
Saints put some points on some bad teams and get some wins in a row, and all of a sudden they're back and they're the entertainers again, and Wigan do it. It's just, that's just what you should do.
Yeah.
And maybe we're a victim of our own success a bit.
It was that element. We talked about it before the first league game.
I bet you'll see it with Liverpool now, if they go and win it again next year. Because everyone's been very nice about them this time, and if they win it again next year, that'll turn. Yeah. And all of a sudden the media will want them to fail.
Yeah. Same with Man City.
Think about how Man City have been treated this year.
It's been amazing, and actually finishing in the top 4, which is still a good outcome, really, for a poor season. We said it at the start of this season, before the league game. How could you better that season? Well, the only way we could have bettered it is by not losing a game.
We're not going to better it, are you?
No.
You're not going to better that season. That season's done. We're not going to better it. We've got to start a new season and try and win the league again.
Yeah, and that's what I sort of mean. It feels like there's that element of... it's Wigan, and because they're not playing brilliant every week... It's a negative.
I think we are actually playing really well.
Yeah.
I don't get the whole clunky. Maybe there's been errors. Maybe they've been giving away penalties and had to defend their line, but they're defending it. The defence has been brilliant in this game, and that's something that we potentially criticised last week. The style in putting the tries from our own half.
Yeah.
A variety of different ways. We'll try from a scrum, try from a set play. We didn't really rely on tries from kicks. We just broke them apart many times.
Well, yeah. Again, it's worth looking back, and if you've got the time to go and look back at the game again and the highlights again, look at where a lot of our tries come from in this game. From 30, 40 metres out. We've had the luxury of sitting down and looking at the other games and watching the games when we can and then watching the highlights. There is no one... I'm saying there's no one else in this league that consistently puts you under pressure from such distance, such attacking threat every time.
No, there ain't.
We opened the scoring. Jay scored from a scrum, 45 metres out. Starts on the 40.
And it's just inevitable, this, isn't it?
Yeah. You see the shape developing, and you just think, if this pass is good, and Field can hit it in his stride, it's game over. And it's real attacking brilliance that it's just sort of accepted.
Yeah.
Well, let's go into this first try. Smith, from a scrum, feeds it, wraps around the back. We've seen it time and time again. Lots of teams are trying to copy that now to get the extra man over. O'Neill with a good pass. But what I want to talk about is Bevan French on this. And he had a quiet game, by his own standards, if you want to say that. But it's his off-the-ball work, the 1%ers. Elliot Whitehead from this scrum jumps out to really try and deal with Harry Smith and create that extra man to defend it. And French is just flying on his inside. Smith gives a little dummy, and it just holds Whitehead up.
It just stands him up, doesn't it?
Yeah. And he gets on the outside of him. He's running at the next defender, and it's an overlap. And we go through the hands. Field goes through the gap and scores. But just by making himself an option, he'd started on the right-hand side, which keeps you committed, keeps your 3 defenders out on the Catalans' left. And then just to work hard and get there, it's brilliant. Sets the game off well. 6-0. Field gets under the sticks to score, or near enough under the sticks. A little bit too easy for my liking. But under the sticks, and it's 6-0. There's not many better starts, is there? Because was you worried about this game beforehand?
Potential banana skin, I suppose. Going to France is always tough. Plus the new coach factor.
It was the new coach factor for me.
Maybe a sluggish start. I thought.
Just one of them that we don't get off the plane right, and we're 6-0 down, and
Yeah, it can happen to anyone that can.
things can run away from you. So that's 6-0, 4 minutes in.
Right though, just must have got the preparation right.
Yeah. Score again before. We kick a penalty to make it 8-0, and then just before the 20-minute mark, we actually score this try from a play the ball on our own 40.
Yeah.
That same shape, Ellis to Smith, finds Field out the back, and he gives Jake Wardle early ball with a 2-on-1 against. I think it's Nick Kotrick on this wing.
I think
Was it Yaha? Sorry.
Yeah, Yaha.
I think it was Yaha.
Yeah.
Gives him a 2-on-1 against Yaha, who's not the quickest winger in Super League. And he just draws him. Gives it to Marshall. Marshall lightning. Really, really good game again for him. Finds Sam Walters back on the inside.
Marshall was fantastic in this game.
Should probably mention for Sam Walters. Did pick up an injury. It's a fractured fibula.
Yeah, it looked weird. It looked like... At first, it looked a bit like a knee injury. It's when he's carrying the ball back from the kickoff just after he scored his try, and he stayed on for ages. And it looked like a knee injury, maybe, and then the way they were bending his leg, I thought, well, it's not an ACL.
Yeah.
And then he stood up by putting weight on his leg.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, it's clearly not a knee thing then. And the way they were working on it was like a shin. It was like a shin, and obviously, is it fib or tib?
I think it's his fib.
Right, so that is around that area, isn't it? So
Yeah.
you could tell it was below the knee.
We just looked at what that is, because I'm not an expert in that field and whatnot, but the fibula apparently can be non-weight bearing. It controls a lot of your ankle movement and whatever. It's the second bone in your shin. Puts him out for 12 weeks. A little bit disappointing. We've just got Ethan Havard back. But
And Walters has been fantastic, hasn't he?
Been fantastic. Get a few weeks off now. Put some pressure on the other props. Liam Byrne, Harvey Hill, Dupree are going to have to step up again.
Yeah.
Because we might as well mention it. Luke Thompson's picked up a rib injury, broken ribs.
Yeah.
Not really give a time frame on that. I think it depends on how they heal. And I'm not an expert on the medical front.
With injuries like these, there's never a good time for injuries like these, but this is a good time for injuries like these, if that makes sense. Because we've just got Ethan Havard back. We've just got our forwards back. Mago's just come back. So we're getting to a point this game where we were able to rest 2 of our prop forwards, Hill and Dupree. And you think, right, okay, we've got 2 prop forwards we can rest every match. Keep rotating it, keep our best ones out there for as long as possible, but also rotate them. And then our 2 best props from this year, potentially, are now injured and so will require a rest, but we've got those 2 that can come back in.
Yeah.
So
Thompson with ribs, you hope it's a 5-6 weeker. And
again,
no complications.
It can go one of 2 ways. Obviously, we see the clubs that have a few injuries and then it derails the season completely, especially in the props. We've built a squad where that shouldn't happen, really. And so the injuries shouldn't really be mentioned. I know at the start of this game they were talking about how Wigan have been able to field their first choice team every week, which is
just not true, is it?
But the strength and depth of the squad is why that looks like is the case.
But yeah, hopefully get both of them back just before the business end of the season. We can then score again from deep. This is a typical try from deep and intercept. But Wigan push up. Catalans sort of have a number on us really here. It looks like a bit of a 4-on-3. But Marshall puts himself in the right place, intercepts it, 80 metres, best part of 80, 85 metres.
Mm-hmm.
Under the sticks to score.
There's another try for Marshall, who actually has been, for last year's top try scorer, has been lagging a bit behind French and Wardle and Field for this year, but it was good he got 2 this game for good rewards for his hard work, because he's one of our hardest working players.
Yeah, we talk about him every week, and again in this game he ran 286 metres off about 20 carries. So that try, probably 80 of them, so 200 metres from 18 carries, a phenomenal effort from a winger, helping his team out in yardage. That's 20 points to 0 at half time. We've still got our captain's challenge in play. Something that
It's funny actually what we did with the captain's challenge this week. We didn't use it, and it come to the very end, and I think we should have kept the ball or something. And one of the lads was saying, "Oh, challenge it," and the ref was going to challenge it, and he said to Farrell, "You're the captain. Do you want to challenge it?" And Farrell went, "Nah, leave it. Just end the game. Leave it."
Yeah. You don't need to use it every week. There's not some rule that says you need to use it. And you know what? If you're prepared to ignore one early on so you can keep it towards the end of the game when you might need it, I think that's possibly the right way to go. Now, we were talking about how good Jake Wardle is and how good he's been. He made 3 errors in this game, very unlike him. But this is his brilliance. Wigan's next try, 7 minutes into the second half. Play to the right, ball sort of behind Adam Kieran. Eckersley does a job, gets round and picks it up. Works his way in field, and these always have a bit of a feeling that you're just waiting for a tackle so you can reset. But Jake Wardle runs a really good line. Skips past, I'm going to say, maybe 7 defenders. Gets through to the fullback. Gets half tackled. And Cruz Lehman's backing up on the inside. Now, Matty, you talked about this when we were watching it before and watching the highlights before. But how good is this from Jake Wardle? Take us through it.
Well, the initial half stop from the fullback lets one of the other players get back.
I think it's Theo Farge who gets back.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Wardle could reach out and score, but his body really isn't in a good position to. So the natural instinct there is to throw the offload to Lehman, who's backing up inside like he always is. But Partington's rushing across to tackle. He's not worried about Lehman, but he's rushing across to tackle Wardle. And he just hangs on to that for a brief split second, lets Partington run to him, then offloads it. And obviously, standard procedure is you offload it before the man comes to tackle you, but this was the opposite. You have to wait for him to come to you, so you've got your arm free to flick it up for Lehman, who can just catch it and fall over for a try. Easiest try Cruz will ever score.
Yeah.
But he's in the right place every time.
Yeah.
For those kind of tries.
Someone has to be there to do it. Now again, 3 minutes later, work our way upfield. Tackled on that post that we talk about so often. This time we go down the short side. We've proper numbered up here. We've sent a lot of numbers down the short side.
Because French did that thing where he drifts open and then fires blind, like he did against Lee last week.
Lehman finds Harry Smith. Finds Cade Ellis, who finds Harry Smith. At this point now, we've got what looks to be, and I'm trying to quickly count it. I think it's a 5-on-3. You've got Field, Wardle, and Marshall out on the outside, going at 2 defenders, and you've got Smith and December. And I think they're running at Theo Farge. Theo Farge is not known as a great defensive half on this, anyway.
Oh, I was thinking it was the Marshall try. That's why I was talking about French drifting open and then firing blind. Save that thought. Put a pin in that.
Yeah. But Smith just hits December on the short ball. And this is almost the reverse of what usually happens. We normally hit December early, short, and later on in the half you get Field open. This time the threat of Field just gives December so much room to walk through.
Yeah.
And he carries the fullback over the line.
Well, we'll do one of those.
You're not stopping him from the reaches out, plants it down, and that takes it to 32 points to 0. 52 minutes gone. Really good start to the second half. Now, 20th minute. 20 minutes into the second half, Wigan score again. Great play. This time, French has left his right side, looped round to the left. Smith finds French, and again, you've got this. December running at the half-back, one-on-one. He could probably score. You've got Field and Wardle both running at the same defender, the winger. French could probably go himself and probably find a way through. And everyone's shooting up to try and deal with an issue. And brilliant hands. Big cut-out pass to Liam Marshall, who strolls in the corner. But it's just there's so many different threats and options. How do you defend that?
Yeah.
It's impossible to defend.
It's very good play.
Takes us to 36-0. I can't remember. Did we kick that? 36-0? 30?
That was the one we missed, I think.
Was that the one he missed? At 70-minute mark. Now, it would be easy to shut up shop and cruise to the end of the half, but we do manage to put some more points on. Again, from deep, Lehman gets out, finds Adam Kieran with a good cut-out ball.
It was a good ball, that.
Really good ball from our own 20-metre line again. Kieran sort of tries to hold the fullback up like he did. Tried to hold Duffy up.
Yes.
At Magic. I couldn't think what it was then, sorry. There are 5 Wigan players on his inside. And French, just being the clever player that he is, gives him an option on the outside. He wraps around underneath him. Kieran pops the ball up. And Bev gets the walk in for, again, one of the easiest tries he might ever score, really.
Yeah, and then he flashed us all the £650,000 a year smile. Yeah.
Oh, he just loves a good smile, doesn't he? Yeah. Especially when the game's going well.
His mates put him in for an easy try. You've won the match away in France. The weather's nice. Yeah. Why not give us a smile?
Yeah. And then that's not the end of it. We're going to go on to score again. But again, it's from so deep in our own half. We're in our own 40. O'Neill to French, finds Field, who sort of gets to the line, realises there's not much on him, and bounces back across. Has 4 or 5 opportunities to pass, but doesn't, keep skipping across. Bounces off the tackle of Theo Farge.
2 guys, yeah.
And then he creates a 3-on-2 by beating Farge and going back at him. Finds Wardle, who finds Marshall. Marshall down the wing. Really brilliantly again.
Queue up to score.
Yeah, Harry Smith loves a back up on the inside try off Marshall, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Pushes Wardle out the way.
Harry Smith in white boots. Can we talk about that, please?
I knew this had caught your eye.
What happened to the general wearing his black boots? The throwback?
Maybe because it's in France and...
Maybe.
I'm just going to point this out. I hadn't noticed that then when we were watching it back there. Why does Smith dummy at the line?
I don't know, I noticed that.
For absolutely no need. I think, is there someone there who was on the nudie run still who was going to help out? No, I don't think so.
There's nobody there.
There is absolutely no one there.
Oh, what a... Yeah.
Gets in 48-0.
Brilliant game. Brilliant win.
If Adam Kieran could kick, it would have been 50. Yeah?
You see the one he missed?
I'm just being critical because...
Yeah, some people around us would have been critical. You know, Harry Smith would have kicked that one.
Where's Chris Hankinson when you need him?
We should have signed Josh Mantellato for his goal kick.
Yeah. Morgan Escary.
That doesn't even that argument doesn't even hold water when you've got a bad goal kicker. So now we've got an amazing one, it definitely doesn't hold water.
I know. 48 points to 0. Puts us, again, still within 2 points of KR. KR got a lot coming up. Again, we've said it once before, you would think that KR were 8 points clear, going off the talk around Super League at the moment. But you know what, just cruising really. Not got out to second or third gear. We've not put the foot down for 80 minutes. We're just doing what we need to.
Our best performance was at Vegas, which we obviously planned for, to put on a bit of a show. And we haven't peaked since then, and we have won all but 2 games. And those 2 games we lost, we've been through before. One by a header of Ryan Hall, and one we lost 1-0, which was just a freak game.
Now this is weird. I was looking back at the seasons that we've had under Matty Pete and whatnot. I do think there'll be a game that they're targeting, and they say that's where we want to show everything.
It'll be Hull KR. Oh.
So I think, what round is that?
Actually, we've not won at Totally Wicked with Pete in charge, so could be that.
But there's always a game, and I think it'll be 5 to 6 weeks from the end of the season. And I'm looking around there, and we play Hull KR at home, Catalans away again, and Salford St Helens away.
It's one of them, isn't it?
3 or 4 weeks before the end of the season. There'll be a game where we target.
We need to get some points on the board now. That is tough.
Yeah, win now, win early. It means you can sort of cruise to that. But there is always a game where we put points on and we play to a standard that everyone says, or they're backing it. And last year it was KR at home.
It was, yeah.
The year before, Catalans away.
Yeah.
William Byrne got injured after his phenomenal spell. But
one,
there'll be one, and you'll know it when it happens. Right, I think that wraps it up, really.
Yep.
20. I was going to say that's 25 minutes, but for a 48-0 game, it was quite routine, really, and not
a bit easy.
Yeah.
And a lot of the comments were made similar to last week. Attack wise, things are clicking. Jayfield's on fire. French is playing quite well. So
Smith doing his job.
Marshall's doing amazing. Smith doing his job forward to laying the platform. So like a lot of stuff we've mentioned before.
Yeah. Well, again, we looked at the stats. Not much to say. A few too many errors. 12
One of away
errors.
games coming up. Yeah, 6 away games in a row.
I think it's something we're used to that now.
It is, and then they asked Pete about it, and he said, "Yeah, it gives us some home games." We've then got 3 home games in a row then, so they like it. If you can keep winning away in this period, if you can keep grinding out results or putting on good performances like this one, then you're in a really, really good position.
So that away run ends with a trip to league. If we can get through that and then take Huddersfield, Hull and Catalans at home, there are 3 good games to get back at home.
Yeah.
Challenges, but teams that you should be confident against.
Yeah.
Right, 48 points to 0. Good win. And we'll come back and we'll go through the news and what's caught your eye, Matt. Matty, you've been looking around as you do every week and keeping an eye on the NRL for you. What's caught your eye this week?
Yeah. Well, first of all, with an England hat on, Dom Young came back into the Roosters side to play the Sharks, and they had a dominant win and he scored. So that's one thing I'm looking out for. Whenever Dom Young plays, with an eye on the Ashes in the season.
Still a bit of a cloud over him, isn't there?
There is, yeah. There is.
Trent Robinson wasn't happy the other day, saying that we've not said anything to Dom and he's trying to, he's trying to force his way out to go back to the Knights and not happy.
Weird one. Another thing was the doggies got pumped in some serious bad weather by Dolphins, who looked fantastic. Dolphins obviously without Hammer, and Dogs without several of their key men.
Max King, Crichton. I think that was it, really, though.
Burton not have to play.
Burton played.
Well, that's part of my next one, actually, which was that Matt Burton has been called in an emergency basis up to the New South Wales Blues squad for Game 1. It's thought that Stephen Crichton is unwell or unfit.
Calf issue, I think I read.
Burton's there on emergency. He's not the 18th man. They already had an 18th man, didn't they?
Yeah.
And so he's just going to be in as a spare.
I think the talk is that if Crichton can't play, Campbell Graham will come into the starting team, who's the 18th man.
And Burton will be 18th man. I think that's what's going to happen.
Because he can play 1-6-7, he's played centre.
Yeah. But they reckon Crichton's pulled up okay and will play tomorrow.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that.
Right, the news. Lewis has let us down, he's not here. I'll have to fill in with the news section.
Okay.
We've already talked about a few of these pieces, the 2 Wigan injuries, the Steve McNamara leaving.
Yeah.
So we're not going to go over them. But we should start with some Wigan news. Matty Pete has today said that they've triggered the extension for Sam SA. We had a team year for 2026. A deal for...
Team option.
team option for 2026.
I don't know if we just triggered it today or whatever, but somebody asked him today about his future, and he said, yeah, he's under contract for 2026, so that was news to us, and he's clearly exercised that option. I don't see why not.
Yeah,
he's doing well, isn't he?
Clearly they've got a plan for him. He's been playing well at Hull FC. He's impressing there now. I don't think he started great at the start of this season, but he's really grown into his own. Found a role that's working for him. Next up, we talked last week about 4 games having attendances of over 10,000. Some teams are averaging really, really good numbers. Wigan are averaging nearly 19,000, if not over. Leeds are averaging 15,000. Hull KR, Hull FC, all over 10,000. And some more that were averaging all that. But this week, only one game had over 10,000 fans in attendance. Now, whether that's a mix of the games, which we'll talk about later, and where they were held, actually, because Hull KR, for example, usually get 10,000 no matter what. Leeds usually get 10,000 no matter what. But we're away from home or playing a lesser side, really. But Catalans Wigan, it was just over 10,000, wasn't it? I think it was just short of 11.
It was between 10 and 11, yeah.
Next up in the news, a really good story. Brogan Evans played for
Brogan Evans. She played for the Wigan Warriors women's team last year, and
she got it was a career-ending injury, really.
Career-ending knee injury
early on in the season.
Yeah.
But the good news is she's back playing. She's playing wheelchair rugby.
Yep.
For Salford and for Wales.
Yes, so she could be. Well, you could be a dual international because she played for Wales women's team.
Yeah. If
she then plays for Wales wheelchair team, she's in the squad. What does that make her? A dual international, I suppose.
Yeah.
I know it's for the same country, but it's for different. Technically, it's for different sports. So that's a really good story because that could have been
a sad one to have.
Well, it still is. A career as a running rugby league player is over, but at least she can still be involved in the game.
Big time. 2 short-term deals. Both have been in the talks. Toby King, obviously, we were just discussing whether we would have Toby King back, and we love him.
Yeah. Do you remember the King with the Jungle when he scored on? Was that his first game or it was early on? Definitely.
I think it was his first game because we went to Cass and it rained sideways.
That wasn't his first game. Or I think that was his 3rd game.
Was that his first proper game?
No, because
he had a friendly. And...
No, because he played. We were away at Hull KR first game. Then we put home to Wake it, and he definitely played those 2 games. And then it was his 3rd game where he was king of the jungle because he scored right in front of the Wigan fans.
Loved him. Another name though that was really important, a big prop forward, Paul Vaughan. Talks of where he was going to go.
Yeah, ironically the jungle.
Yeah, but links to Castleford. I saw links to Wakefield. I've seen links to. I'm sure I saw one to FC at one point.
They'll be linked to Catalan because every prop forward gets linked to Catalan.
Yeah,
I'd love signing a prop forward.
But I don't think there's many clubs in Super League that wouldn't take Paul Vaughan on a short-term deal. But by the sounds of it, them two, Vaughan and King, are signed on short-term deals for 2026.
For Warrington.
Yeah. Sticking with Warrington, Zane Musgrove's had a sharp exit from the club.
Yeah.
Almost out of the blue, really. No real news of ongoing issues. And then the next thing is he's off and he's at Oldham. Played for Oldham this weekend, so that's a real sharp exit.
That tells you how quickly the news cycle changes that he's made his debut for his new team. I think if we were to speculate what's gone on, it would just be a stab in the dark. We wouldn't really know what's happened at all. And it sounds like there's another barbecue involved, which...
Paul Vaughan's got a history of barbecues.
Yeah, so has Matt Duffy as well with the St George Illawarra Dragons. That story's well documented. But yeah, we don't really know what's gone on, and we don't want to speculate. If
that gets announced, there'll be big news.
It won't get announced. We'll never know. You can't say why. Obviously, the fans are annoyed at Burgess for not saying why he's gone, but let's be real here. Burgess is definitely not in a position to say what's going on.
No. And finally, London Broncos. They brought in an Aussie firm who have set up a 5-year plan.
It's called Freshwater something. Freshwater Solutions, or it's something like that. It's a really corporate name.
Yeah, 5-year plan. Gary Etherington has been talking in the press the last couple of days about London being involved in a 5-year
plan.
A 5-year plan, but actually being involved in a 14-team Team Super League next year. Yeah, he believes that the Broncos could be a part of the top flight of the 14-team comp next year. Interesting, because when he was at Leeds, he didn't want a 14-team league.
And fun fact about Freshwater, birthplace of Steve Menzies, I believe.
That's a rogue fact if you know that off the top of your head.
I think so. I think that's where Steve Menzies is from. I love Steve Menzies.
But yeah, we all want London to work. I don't want them put in too quick. I don't want this to be too quick and too rushed again. It felt rushed last year. Obviously, they got promoted when no one really expected them to.
Yeah, and
they weren't ready for it.
They weren't ready for it, but then that could happen to any team.
Yeah, definitely, and that is the joys of the playoffs. But
it's not just happened to them, you know.
But you know, when Lee were coming up,
Wakey coming up this town was a lot more measured.
There was a feeling.
It was a lot more ready to come up, weren't they? Wakey?
It was a 2-3 year plan to get there. And almost when Wakey got relegated, it felt like they were planning to do well and come back up, rather than stay there and struggle for another year. But yeah, that's the news. A lot of rumours about who's signing where. It's getting to that time of the year, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
And players are leaving, like we talked about Zane Musgrove leaving. There's rumours of who they're going to go after. Rumours of players at pretty much every club, I think. bar Russ and Hull KR, there's a talk about everyone leaving everywhere.
Yeah, there will be one there. There always will be.
And who's going to replace who? That'll be really interesting. So keep your eye out, and when it's announced, we'll share that with you. When we come back, we'll go around the grounds. So we're going to go around the grounds now. 5 of the games, a couple on at the same time, which made it a little bit difficult for watching purposes. We're going to start off on Thursday. Lee, Hull. 2 teams who've actually had pretty good starts, and without looking at the exact figures, gone through a bit of a tough time. Lee had lost 2 in 2. Hull had lost 4 in a row.
Yeah.
After good starts, they're still both sat in and around the top 4. Hull are just out by a point. Obviously, Lee and Hull are both on odd numbers because they drew to each other. The only draw of the season.
Hull have lost all their home games as well. I know this was an away game, but Hull have lost every single home game.
I'm going to mention, wasn't that the same as Wakey until a couple of weeks ago?
Wakey was the same, yeah. But
Wakey beat Warrington.
They beat Warrington. To end that, and then they won at home this week, which we'll talk about later.
But Hull got off to a flyer, 26-0 at half-time. Points again just before half-time. We talk about the importance of it, but It was 20-0. Sam Esse scores with about 10 seconds left in the 40th minute to make it 26 points to 0. And that's a bit of a killer, that. Because if you don't score there...
Yeah, again, it changes your team talk. It's the second week in a row where something's happened just before half-time. But this week, Lammy has to undo another button because they've gone another try behind.
Yeah. But I do think if they don't score there and Lee scored 2 tries in the 60th and the nearly the 70th minute, 20 points to 12 going into the last 10 is squeaky bum time, really.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Actually, in this case, they just had a little bit too much to do.
They got a bit too good of a start, you should say, for FC. But yeah, FC playing workman-like performances. They played a bit like Lee normally do.
I will say, do you think this is... How often do you reckon this happens? Hull scored all the points in the first half. And Lee scored all the points in the second.
If you were at that other end of the stadium, you'd seen no points.
Yeah. That's what I was getting at, really. But Cade Cust, really big try. The Herminator got one.
Yeah.
Crash over ball. It's not really what you want, is it, when you're being kept on the floor from a quick play of the ball and then you see him running at you?
Absolutely charging. I thought you didn't like the Herminator anyway as a nickname.
I'm okay with the nickname. I'm not okay with it when the commentator live is going, the Herminator.
It's a character, isn't it? It's character.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, 26 points to 12. 2 points needed by Hull to stop that rot, really.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to go 5, 6, 7 games without winning. Big win there. Now, Friday. 2 games on Friday. Yeah, just checking. 2 games on Friday. Yeah, Warrington, Hull. A situation that Warrington are quite used to, actually, when they played us in the Challenge Cup final last year.
Just before the final.
Yeah. They played us the week before. This time they're playing Hull KR 2 weeks before.
Warrington rested a lot of players in this. Anyone who's even got a cough or a cold, I think, was arrested for this. A lot of players rested. They even brought Dufty off early to wrap him up in cotton wool.
I think the halves were Ben Curry at one point.
Ben Curry and Leyland, yeah, but they ended up being Ratchford.
So a lot of changes there. I think we'll see a very, very different team this week. And then a different team for the final.
Yeah.
Because last year they rested the week before the final. And it possibly affected them. I think Burgess might have learnt from his mistakes here.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what both coaches do. You know what, we might as well talk about it now. Challenge Cup final next week. Do you think both of these teams will change, will rest?
Well, history would say yes. But these two teams are the last two runners-up in the Challenge Cup final, having both rested every single player. Yeah. So maybe they won't rest every single player. I don't know. I'm interested to see if they go for that route again or whether they decide to play everybody, get the fitness, I wouldn't rest everyone 2 weeks in a row.
No, I don't think Warrington are in a position now that they can.
Well, we'll see.
We'll see. It's going to be interesting, that, isn't it? Normally you say you have to lose one to win one. Both of these teams have lost one in the last 2 years. Yeah. So it's going to be really interesting. They both can't win. But we'll see what goes on there. Good win by Hull KR.
Never mind, they both can't win. They both can't lose, unfortunately.
Oh, that would be the best result. 0-0. Go to Golden Point. Just keep playing. No one scores. No one does anything.
Who won the trophy at Wembley? York Knights won the 1895 Cup. Wigan won the Women's Challenge Cup. And the Challenge Cup ended up in a no contest.
They're still playing now. Yeah, that'd be perfect. And don't be an exciting 0-0. Just be drop ball after drop ball. That's all I'm asking for. Not a lot to ask for, is it really? But yeah, we're the better side. Some nice play, some nice finishing.
Yeah, Hiku was really, really good.
Yeah, he was up against the young centre, wasn't he?
Yeah, he had a good game though. Hiku had a good game.
Next game on Friday. Well, the Saints are back.
They're entertainers.
Yeah, they're brilliant again. 46 points to 4. They beat Huddersfield. Put points on a Catalan team that sacked the coach. So that tells you how good they are.
Yeah, but this was only because that kick went dead from Ashton Golding, remember? If that kick doesn't go dead and it's 22-6 instead of 28-0, then Huddersfield win that game.
You know the worst bit about that? Not only that it's just completely wrong, but Saylor was still there to deal with it.
I know.
It's not like if it doesn't go dead, Huddersfield definitely score.
It's just a drop out. Well, that's Luke Robinson viewpoint of the try for Wellesby.
You know what we've also got to mention? 15 seconds left. Walmsley gets sin-binned.
In the first half.
In the first half. And they didn't go for 2.
No.
Surely, I get it, you're 22-0 down. You really want to go for 2. But you've got
15 seconds is not enough time to
draw someone in and find a gap when you've not scored in the entire 39 minutes before.
No.
If you had a minute and a half left, I'd get it.
Oh, yeah.
Bad decision. Saints are back, though, obviously.
No.
Well, that's what they're saying. No. Saturday, before us, Castleford versus Leeds. 29 points to 6. 6-0. 7-0, I should say, at half-time with a Jake Connor 1-pointer.
Yep.
And a Sam Lasoni try. Liam Horn with probably the most obvious and comical yellow card of the week.
Yeah. Just tripped up a guy who was trying to do a quick 20-metre restart.
Just the most obvious.
Right in front of the ref as well.
Couldn't have made this any more obvious.
Right in front of the ref.
And Castleford, though, come back out in the second half, score first, make it 7 points to 6.
You can do that to your Cass. They can keep it close and then they can score from deep to make you, just wonder a little bit.
Yeah, well, was it Mellor? I think it was.
Yeah, crashed through and then...
Crashed through a Brawley Croft tackle and Lewis Senior scored.
Yeah.
But then Leeds, 2 back-to-back tries, Newman and Hall, within 4 minutes of each other, and just sort of took the game away. Once they went 2 tries away from him, I really did not think Castleford could get back into this.
Newman's was the try where he messed it up, didn't he? He messed up the kick.
Yeah.
That's the killer, isn't it? You're losing by 1 point and then you do that.
Yeah, just knock the ball dead. Just knock the ball dead. Don't try and do some fancy slide so you can try and get out. And you could have been in that then. You know, defending...
Live to fight another set.
Yeah, and they're defending in front of that home stand, which does help them out a bit. It's vocal and whatever, and if you're really in the game, you can use that energy, but that just flattens it. It just kills the crowd. Coach killers them. Real coach killers. Sam Lasoni with a double?
Yep. Are you going to give him Monster of the Week?
No.
Okay.
Not when you're an impact player like that.
Impact props can't be Monsters of the Week. You're
No,
right.
Mago
It's
will
be someone who's hard working.
Yeah, Patrick Mago will never be the monster of the week.
No.
Because it's just not.
Maybe it's got the wrong name then.
Yeah. Monster of the week does sound like an impact player, doesn't it?
Sounds like someone's going to storm in and ban
We might have messed up there.
Maybe we should have named it after Relentless.
Yeah, the relentless player of the week.
Well, you should have given it to Owen Trout then, because you were waxing lyrical about his work off the ball the other day.
Yeah. He's obviously a player I really like. I do think Lee needs to get him back in the middle. I don't think he's a second rower. I think he could do a job there, like Luke Thompson could do a job for us.
Yeah. But he's a
prop who's playing second row. Or 13. Yeah. Last game, 72 points to 10. Wakefield beat Salford. Couple of players back from Nene McDonald, back.
Yeah, it was his second game back.
Played on the wing. Johnny Vaughan scored for Salford. I'm not going to go through all the try scorers because there's a few of them. Again, it's really weird to say this about a team that was promoted this year, but you can't actually comment on them based on this game. You can't comment on Wakey because it is just Salford.
Yeah. What more can we say about Salford that we've not said every single week since March?
Well, I'm really surprised because Nene McDonald played at fullback and really played in the halves. I'm surprised I've not just seen them go really simple and just put Eason Masters at 7 and just have because
almost like it's an international team.
Yeah, one of the tries that Salford scored actually did come off Brearley to Masters to Nene back on the inside, and I just think if you've only got 4 or 5 senior players, when you look through this squad, they've got Brearley, McDonald, Sam Stone, but he's a second rower, Joe Shorrocks, play him at 13, get 80 minutes out of him at 13. Ormond Royd a prop, get him in there. Hankinson, a centre who could do a job at full back. But actually, your 3 main players are Brearley, McDonald and Masters. Just put them at 1, 6 and 7.
Yeah.
1, 6 and 7 and just get them playing from there.
Yeah. Treat it like it's an international game and you're a minnow against a big team.
Yeah. And just go for it.
And just try and be
some
solid.
Creativity.
And you use those 3 players as your only outlets at all.
Yeah. I'd also have Brearley at full back.
Yeah, probably.
Just because he is a natural fullback. Wakefield, really good. Because we can't say much about them off this game, let's just talk about them a little bit.
Okay.
7 wins from 12 in Super League. And in that, they've lost at Catalan away, lost at St Helens away, lost at Hull FC in a close game, Saints and Hull Car. They've not been beaten by anyone lower down the table. They're all top teams.
Yeah. Or Hull and Catalan who are in the sort of mixture.
Yeah, and Catalan at Catalan. Hull FC at that point in the season were flying. I don't think they'd lost the game by that point, Hull FC.
Yeah. So, an
incredible start for them. Yeah, sorry, they'd lost to us, and that was it. So, an incredible start for Wakefield. They'd have snatched your hands off for that.
And that Hull KR game could have gone to extra time had Jowett kicked a goal.
Exactly. But now they've got a bit of a tough run. The next 6 are all against teams that are going to be competing for the top 6. Leeds, Lee, us, KR, Catalan, Hull FC. If they could get 2 wins there,
they'll still be within touching distance of the top 6.
They'll still be in the conversation.
Yeah.
And they've got some beatable teams at the back end. They've got Salford twice, Huddersfield, Cass at the back end of the season. So they need to be within touching distance. And I'm not saying, the same way I said it for Lee in their first season, they don't have to finish top 6.
They'll have to be looking at it though, they're competing.
Yeah. They don't have to get top 6 for it to
I
be a
think they'll be
successful
competing.
season.
I think they could lose their next 6 games and still be competing for the top 6 because
They don't have to play each other.
they'll have a nice... Yeah, exactly. Those teams are going to drop points as well, and then they've got a nice run home, so...
I just think 2 wins keeps you within touching distance.
Yeah.
And that would be really, really important. And then target the back end of the season.
Yeah.
Go on, Matty, anything else you want to talk about? Oh, we've gone through all 5 games.
Who's the monster of the week, then? Owen Trout.
I don't think
There's not been many monsters this week, has there?
No really stand out. Well, there's been a lot of blowout games.
Fatelli got 2 tries, but he was monster of the week 2 weeks ago. I'm not going to give it to him again. McMeekin's already won it before.
I think it's very difficult to have a
Hard-working.
hard-working player in a blowout.
It's got to be somebody from this game, then. From the League Hull game.
Wow.
So who works hard in that?
Well, from that game, then you're probably looking at someone like Liam Knight.
Yeah, workhorse.
Yeah, just having a look at his stats now: 45 tackles, 125 metres in a side that wins.
That's exactly what we're looking for in the monster of the week, isn't it? He's not caught the eye with a try or a try assist or anything, but he's worked really hard.
And he's allowed people like SASA to have a barnstorming try.
SASA and SA both have barnstorming tries, yeah.
But he probably goes a little bit under the radar. So yeah, I think we'll go in.
Let's do it.
Liam Knight.
Liam Knight is the monster big man of the week. 4 rounds.
I'm sure this name's getting longer.
It's not.
It's getting longer and longer each week.
The monster big man of the week, not affiliated with Monster. Other energy drinks are available.
Unless you work for them and you want to sponsor us. That wraps it up. Good week of Super League. League starting to take shape. We said it's there.
Yeah.
Everything seems to be following that pattern. It's going to be interesting who makes this top 6. Because three sides are going to miss out, really, that could argue they deserve it.
Yeah.
And at the moment, Hull, Catalan and Warrington are outside of the top 6. Do you think them 3 will miss out? Or do you think one of them sneaks in? Hull, Catalan, Warrington.
I think one of those teams might sneak in at the expense of potentially Wakefield with them having those tough games coming up. But I couldn't tell you which one it will be. Hull have been the most impressive. Warrington, probably on paper, you'd say the most likely. So, I don't know. Then knowing that, it'll probably be Catalan.
Yeah, it's one of them, isn't it?
You just don't know, do you?
Yeah, potentially 2 or 3 of them could get in. They're still within touching distance. Saints and Wakey are just on 14. Lee on 15. Leeds 16. None of them 4 are really...
Cas get a couple back-to-back. You'll be looking at them.
Yeah. But neither of them 4 that are in the 3 to 6 have broke away from the pack.
No.
Which is...
Good for the league.
Good for the league. Worrying for them. Right. Hopefully have another good round of Super League.
Yeah. Bit of a shorter episode. Well, it's just been 2 hours, but...
Yeah.
It's still good to get one out. We're closing in on 100. I think this is 95.
Getting there.
Episode 95, so we're closing in. We're in the nervous 90s.
We're going to have to ask for, people's highlights.
Everyone just said that beer team.
Send us in your ideas for what else, for other 13s we've got. Biscuit 13.
Yeah. I think there's scope for a superhero Marvel versus DC team.
Yeah. We'll be working on them
in
the next few weeks. Thank you for listening. Matty, thank you for coming on. See you next week.